Welcome to the Dialed In podcast. I'm your host, Callan Hahn, registered dietitian, cellular restoration practitioner, and bodybuilder. This podcast is for high-performing women that are ready to be intentional about reaching their next level of their health, performance, and life. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today for this IG Live. And this one, I'm actually flying solo. I know that there are a lot of new followers to my Instagram page. In the past week, I've had a few hundred new followers. So if you are new here, first of all, I want to welcome you. And we do everything health and wellness in this space with Dialed In Coaching. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Callan Hahn, a registered dietitian, a detox practitioner, and a former bodybuilder, and I'll probably be going back to the stage here in the near future. So that is something that today's topic is near and dear to my heart, is because of the experiences that I have had in life. And I want to talk about how health is the hidden operating system for high-performing women in order for them to reach their next level of success. And this is very important because in the business space, I see a lot of women who are burnout, who are barely skating by, and they are running on zero fuel, having all these excuses, late for everything. And I firmly believe that when you simplify your health, and what we call your health being dialed in, when you dial in your health, your life gets so much easier because it's easier to regulate. And you see all these different coaches out there. You see individuals that do nervous system regulation. You have individuals that firmly believe in only sound healing. You have certain individuals that are all about fitness, some about mindset. You have all these different, little a la carte, so to speak, coaches. And a system that we've developed inside Dialed In Coaching is seeing all of these little a la carte coaches, but understanding how can we utilize all of them together and bring the body back into harmony. Because when we are really focusing our energy outward and we're outsourcing our power, that's where we start feeling the most disconnected from ourselves. So it's not to say that any of those coaches are wrong, because we do a lot of nervous system regulation in this space. We do a lot of mindset coaching. We do a lot of those modalities, but what we also make sure not to miss is bring them all together. And at Dialed In Coaching, we do work with outsourced coaches if we have a client that needs specific expertise. And this is what we love about the community that we've created and the network of professionals that we work with, is we see the entire picture of the individual, because our goal is for the specific client to become the hero in this story. This is what it's all about. You come to us with a problem. We are the guides that are going to help navigate you to the solution. And that's what people need. They don't need to be behind the scenes, struggling so much, trying to figure things out. Let me figure things out. Let me figure out my finances. Let me figure out my time. Let me figure out my schedule. What you really have to do is step back and say, okay, if I go all in on myself, and I invest in me, what would that do in order to help me monetize my time? Help me create a greater income for me and my family so that I can invest more into my health? What if it allowed me to really have precise decision-making abilities so that I can perform as my best? And that's what I want to open this community up to, is when you start calming down the body and calming down the mind, things become a lot more clear. And the body heals when it has clarity. And I know a lot of you are probably like, well, I'm not sick or anything. I just have the normal symptoms. I get headaches every once in a while. I can't sleep through the night. Every once in a while I get achy joints. I have bloating when I eat XYZ. Those are all symptoms. And that is your body's innate ability to communicate with you. And what we call it is learning the language of your body. So your body can't speak to you in plain English. What you have to do is be quiet enough and drown out the noise so that you can start understanding and decoding what those specific symptoms mean. And some of you watching this are probably like, okay, this is too high level. I'm not interested. I'm checked out. What if I told you that learning the language of your body made your life so much easier, where not only you understand yourself in this season of life, you understand childhood behavior, you understand why you made certain decisions in the past, why you felt drawn to certain things. And I'm going to use an example. So we had a client and they were a chronic smoker. And this was something that had happened when they went to college. They go to college and then all of a sudden they thought, oh, it was just a social thing that I was doing with my friends. Well, they had also gone on an international trip. And on this trip, we have now discovered years later that something shifted in their body when they went on that vacation. Because when they came back highly addicted to nicotine. Now, nicotine is actually beneficial in a phase of a healing journey. Nicotine is something the body needs to heal from a specific co-infection. So what they thought was a very unhealthy habit, but their body was aggressively craving, now working through us, we understand that that is why they were addicted to smoking cigarettes. Even though they didn't like the smell of cigarette smoke, they didn't like showing up to people and smelling like that, but they needed the nicotine because it was the one thing that was killing part of the co-infection that they had received from a different country. I know all of this sounds really deep, but I want it to be an avenue for you to open up your mind, to understand, why can't I stick to my nutrition plan? Why do I have food noise? Why do I not want to go to the gym and exercise? Those all seem like very simple questions, but when we evaluate it deeper and look into more specific questions for the human body, you have to realize everything makes sense, but you haven't had the opportunity yet or the right experts yet to help you decode what that is. So if any of you are joining, oh, there's so many of you joining. I love this. It's so nice to see all of you. If you have any questions about what I'm discussing, please feel free. Write it in the chat, just comment, and I will be sure to answer any of your questions that you have. So when it comes to health and wellness, you have to think it is more than just eating healthy and exercising. There are thousands upon thousands of healing modalities. And part of your job, because you are the one that lives in your body every single day. And I know it's really easy for you to think in the moment, okay, I just need to thrive right now. I just need to get through my day. Something that was very transformative through our coaching experience is Melissa Rodabaugh is a very forward-thinking individual. And she got me on the path of starting to think of, okay, what I do today is going to impact me 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, however long I want to live. And I want to empower you to start thinking that forward thinking. If you are a mom right now and you have kids, start thinking of what's life going to be like for me when I have my grandkids? Am I going to be the one that is walking in the walker? And maybe the kids have to come to me because I got to sit in a chair? Or am I going to be that grandma that is running around playing with the kids on the playground, that is teaching them how to lift weights, that is able to keep up with them on walks and hikes when we go on vacation? I want to open up your mind to discovering what does the future look like for you? And then we're going to do a little bit of reverse math and understand that how is that relevant to what I do today? You guys have heard me talk about a lot of non-toxic living. And why is that so important to me in this season of life? Well, it's because everything that you do today is going to compound. So the habits that you have today, you have to ask yourself, if the habits I'm doing today compound, how is that going to affect the 40, the 50, the 60-year-old version of myself? Are they healthy, or are these habits unhealthy? And just taking assessment of what does that look like in this season of life. And when you start assessing things from that perspective, you start realizing, okay, all the caffeine that I'm drinking, all the Band-Aids that I'm using in life, all the quick fixes that I'm going to, that is not conducive to the long game. And that is really important to understand on a health journey, is because it is so easy, because we are just little squirrels on the internet sometimes. We're just like, ooh, new product, ooh, new fad, ooh, new diet, ooh, new workout routine. We're constantly ping-ponging of like, what's the next thing? But what if you really took something that you felt was in alignment with you and you just did it consistently, just for more days? You stopped looking for any answers and you took the one thing that felt totally aligned with your lifestyle, things that you want to do, and a way that you want to live. And you just consistently do that every single day. And you start realizing, wow, did I just create the life of my dreams? It's because I'm doing what I love every single day, and it feels in alignment, that my body feels so good, and I'm just going to continue to do this every single day. That's what health looks like in our space, is we truly see you where you're at in your season of life, and we look, how are we going to improve your operating system? And the operating system is a lot of things. It is your daily habits. It is your belief systems. It is the actions that you will do. It is the actions that you feel resistance to. It is any form of biofeedback in communication. It's going to allow you to refine through repetitions, trial and error, and discovering what is a perfect fit for you. And when we land on that, we don't go anywhere else. When we find that perfect fit for you, we stay there. We sit there. We get comfortable with you feeling good for the very first time. And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be this little thing that comes up. It's called self-sabotage. Because when you are now online with your body, you're feeling so confident and so comfortable inside of your body, boy, little devil's going to sweep in. Disruption's going to try to happen. And you're going to feel, I don't want to stay on the meal plan today. You're going to have these little thoughts. That self-sabotage is because you've never had exactly what you've wanted before. You've always thought health was something you had to work hard for. You always thought the dream body was something you had to work hard for. But when you live in it, it's okay to enjoy it, to really take it in and receive it, that I am worthy of having my dream life, of having my dream job, of having the dream body. And when you sit in it, your perspective starts to shift, because you acknowledge self-sabotage is there, and you see those little behavioral loops happening. And you're like, wow, had I not known this, I would have acted upon that sabotage behavior. So this is what we see a lot in the health and wellness space for people who can't stick to a plan. It's because they're having so much confidence, they're doing so well, and then all of a sudden, their old behavioral loops of like, you are not worthy of this, come in. And that's when you stop going to the gym. It's when you stop eating healthy. And I just want to encourage anyone who's like, oh, well, I mean, I was doing good until I traveled. you still eat when you travel. You eat when you're at home, you eat when you travel. You're walking through the airport, that could be counted as a cardio session. So a lot of it has to do with your mental mapping, what you perceive nutrition to be, what you perceive exercise to be, what you perceive healthy for you to be, not what society tells you, for you. In our space, it is easier when we travel. You wanna know why? We don't have to do dishes. We don't have to cook. There's a lot of things we don't feel obligated to do is because we set you up with a full bulletproof playlist. And this little play-by-play playbook that we give you, you go through it and you understand that life on this side of the fence is so much easier. Because let me tell you one thing, if people, you guys are watching me, you're my followers, you guys have seen me, I am quite lazy. I'm like the lazy health expert because I want to do less energy, but I want the highest output possible. So with that, you just have to be smarter with your intentions and simplify things because the body does respond the best when you give it simplicity. And that's what everyone's looking for. They're looking for what is the easy way out. But what if we can reframe that health that is in alignment with you is actually the easiest thing possible? Because there's ways that you're like, oh, if eating steak, blueberries, and chocolate makes me feel so good throughout the day, I'm gonna prioritize that because I love eating it and I know for certain the outcome is going to allow me to be firing on all cylinders and optimize my performance throughout the day. And if that is your goal, of course you're gonna prioritize that. If going to the gym first thing in the morning at 5 a.m. is your instant wake up, of course you're gonna prioritize that because when you wake up in the morning, you want to be firing on all cylinders. So when you discover what those specific things are for you, something changes in your brain and you start thinking of things from a whole different perspective of, wow, I don't have to fight health and wellness. I can allow it to be part of my life. And when you really love what you are doing and it is part of your life every single day, your whole brain is going to prioritize everything so differently. And this is where your boundaries and your standards become so solid. Is because you now, and we're going to use the example of the 5 a.m. individual that likes to eat steak, chocolate, and blueberries. We're just going to tie it all together. If you are the type of individual that makes you feel good first thing in the morning, of course you are going to prioritize it. It does not matter who is around you because you know that if you have a goal of performing as your best and those are the things that make you feel good, you're going to prioritize them. And if somebody's like, oh, hey, do you want to go to IHOP? Let's go to breakfast this morning. If you are in a position where you need to be firing on all cylinders that day, you're going to be more inclined to say, you know what? I'm actually good with my morning routine, but thank you. I appreciate you asking, but I can enjoy that another time. How about Sunday? How easy is it for you to re-navigate still spending time with your people, but doing it in alignment when you don't need to be performing on all cylinders? There are ways to navigate your health just like that. There are some people in our space that have strict boundaries that this is just their way of life and that's how it is. Then there are others that are like, great, let me maneuver my schedule. Let me schedule things ahead of time. It is all about communication. And moving forward with communication, I do want to touch on community. Your environment that you have surrounding you. And I always say like the 5 closest people that you have to yourself. This is so common in the business space. We know that those 5 people are going to mold the trajectory of our health, the trajectory of our life. So you have to be very careful with those 5 people that you select because they can take you down a really positive path, or you can have people that are holding you back from reaching optimal success. So I want to ask some of you guys, we do have a question here. I'm a first-time mom and I'm 16 weeks and my first baby. Aw, congratulations. I've been feeling so tired and stressed out through my pregnancy. Do you have a question? Oh, feel free to ask. So for anyone, and I'm just gonna offer pregnancy advice, it is very specific. And I can't really offer general advice here for you specifically. But what I do wanna offer is asking certain questions with your practitioner. Because everyone is so different. Everybody has a past trauma. Everybody has different genetics. Everyone has different experiences with going through pregnancy. So a lot of it has to do with where you at in your health this season of life. Asking the questions of what areas of the pregnancy feel normal, what areas don't feel normal. And then further assessing. And I will say I'm a firm believer, any symptom is your body's ability to communicate with you. So any symptom means something. It could mean the baby needs something, it could mean mom needs something. But anytime that you are drained with energy, most of the time that's gonna include your immune system feeling compromised. When your immune system is compromised, it's gonna drain so much energy out of you. So we see this a lot this time of year because right now we're looking into flu season. It is just going around schools like crazy. Kids are bringing it home and moms are experiencing lower energy this time of year, which is so normal. What society says is normal. In our space, that's not normal. No, you need to be firing on all cylinders all day long. And if your immune system is dragging, that's where you take action to really get your immune system built up. And we have specific protocols that we educate all of you through that when you do feel that drag in your immune system, great. We're gonna implement your protocol that is specifically customized to you so that you can continue to perform the whole rest of the day, so that you can get the sleep that you need, so that you can wake up the next morning ready to rock and roll. This is what health and wellness really is. If you're waking up with joint pain, you're waking up with, that like undesire to do anything in life, that's your body talking to you. You have to listen to it. Okay, so before this question, I was on track. I was talking about community because community is so important to understand. When I was talking about those 5 people that are surrounding you, it is really important to know that they are conducive to where you want to go in the future. There are all different types of friends that we can have. They're like and we describe it as a tree. So you have your tree trunk friends who are those friends that are so dear to you that they are so deep rooted, you know that they're going to be there forever. And you have like your tree branch friends who can come and go in certain seasons of life. And then you have your leaf friends who are maybe in and out of your life very quickly. So really assessing in your life, and it could even be your family, are they healthy for me to communicate with right now? Or are they individuals that are allowing me to come back to my behavioral loops? And there was a client that we had who was getting in the best shape of her life. She was getting ready for a bodybuilding show. And there was a lot of people around her that were saying, ooh, you're looking really skinny. Like you're getting really skinny. And they mentioned it to her several times. So what happens? Belief system in her head, she starts thinking like, oh, I'm dieting too hard, I'm getting too skinny. And what does she do? She binges out on food. The outside opinions of others, when you are on your journey, should mean very little if it is not in alignment with where you are going. the whole premise of a bodybuilding prep is to get lean. And she had a coach that had her so safe. But because of outside energy, people looking to her, and she could have said, that's my best friend. Would your best friend tell you something that would allow you to self-sabotage? And this is an honest conversation everyone needs to have with themselves. Is that person really conducive to me helping me get to my goals with being that cheerleader, cheering me on? Or is this individual telling me negative things? Because when you are in a bodybuilding prep, it is really important for you to protect your peace and understand that a lot of it is not normal to be stage lean and for people to be walking around. So you're training under high intensity, you are getting down to an extremely low body fat percentage, which a lot of people are like, oh, that's not healthy. I actually think it is healthy because it starves out any co-infection that you have. If you have mold experience from the past, if you have parasites, if you have candida, if you have overgrowth of anything in your body, a bodybuilding prep is actually really healthy because it starves everything out. So it's really important to understand that journey, you are always monitored. So there are other people from the outside looking in to know, is she getting too lean? Is she experiencing symptoms? Is she, we're always checking in on the athletes. And when those outside opinions come in, it is very destructive. So I want to encourage you, if anybody's had a New Year's resolution this year, and you're like, hey, I'm looking really, really good. I've lost so much weight. I'm doing great. We're actually seeing it a lot in our coaching container where like people on the outside are like, ooh, either complimenting individuals of you look so great, or they're getting the, wow, you look too lean. Those are the people that you know may not be a part of this season of life. If they are not cheering for you and they are not supporting you and they are not conducive to your positive loop patterns, it is something you should question. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you make decisions for you. You decide what the goal is. If you are on a journey and you're like, I think I'm getting too lean, that's who you should listen to. If you're on a journey and you're thinking, my pants don't fit, I think I'm getting overweight, that's who you need to listen to. The moment you feel uncomfortable about where you are at in the journey, that's when you decide to pivot and change. So I know health and wellness is far past weight. There's a lot of other things to consider with health and wellness. But I wanted to provide a couple different examples on this live today to really help you guys identify that, there can be emotional things with my health. There could be environmental things. It could be nutrition. It could be exercise. There's a lot of puzzle pieces. And when you start putting all the little puzzle pieces together, that's where the picture of your life really becomes clear. And that's what we want for everyone. We want you to see that clear picture so that you know exactly what feeling good every single day feels like. Because there's a lot of people that come to us in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They're on a plan for 2 weeks and they're like, I've never felt this good in my entire life. And this is exactly why I started this mission. Is because I didn't know what this felt like until I was 28 years old. And immediately I had felt like 28 years of my life had been stolen from me because I didn't know what optimal health felt like until I was 28. There are so many people that are just living with the symptoms, normalizing everything, and they will never know what that feels like unless they take action. that is the biggest thing that I want to communicate with my community, is I want you guys to know that PMS symptoms are not normal. Those normal symptoms that I've mentioned earlier on in this message, they are not normal. There is an answer, there are solutions. You just have to advocate for you and your health to really understand, what is my body trying to communicate with me? So if I have advice for anyone out there who's wanting to go on a health and wellness journey, learning the language of your body is the most important thing that you will do all year. This is truly what makes the difference for high-performing women in the business space, is knowing that your health is your operating system. Because you, at the end of the day, are the only person that cannot leave you. You are your greatest asset in the business. You are your greatest asset in the family. You are the greatest asset in your life, is because the choices that you make are what decide the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life. And I want to encourage any of you, if you are interested, if anything in this message hit for you and you want to discuss more about your health, please feel free, reach out to me, shoot me a DM. I would love to visit with you more. But hopefully you guys gained a little bit out of the health is the hidden operating system for high performing women. If you guys want to connect with me, please reach out. But thank you for joining today. This has been amazing. And I hope you guys gained so much out of this. Bye guys.